Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2022. It's episode number 6. We have reached the beginning of the conference schedule. So, playing against those alongside us in Conference V. We have gotten to this point with a 5-6 record, so 5 wins from 11 matches played or 11 games played, 6 losses along the way, almost 500. That is significantly better than expected. That also puts us in the middle of the division. And looking at the records, Kennesaw State at 7-4 have the best record, and they're pretty strong. But then as you get down, it's 4-7 down near the bottom. We're talking about relatively even matched conference based on non-conference schedules, which could be absolutely meaningless. Meaning you could play 11 games against 11 of the best teams in the country and lose all 11 and still be a really good team. You could play 11 games against 11 of the worst teams in the country and win all 11 and still be pretty garbage when it comes down to your head-to-head. Now, considering we're in that division that is the worst teams in the country, in terms of prestige anyway, that's unlikely. But I think you get what I'm saying, is that it's all relative based on strength of schedule, based on some other factors. Speaking of other factors, let's look at one very key factor. 3-0 at home, 4-4 on the road. 6-0 at home, 1-5. As you look through here, home and away records, every single team 5-0 at home, 0-6 on the road. For us, 4-1 at home, 1-5 on the road. It is very, very clear that each and every team has done better at home than they did away. Massachusetts Lowell might only be 2-9 overall, but they were 2-1 at home. They just happened to be 0-8 on the road. They had a very unbalanced schedule, and it's a factor. Now, one thing that is important to look at is your net, because that does take strength of scheduling into account. We have dropped a bit. We're at 301, but 301 is definitely higher than some others. But part of the reason behind all of that is that strength of schedule. Arkansas, Pine Bluff, really good example. Their net is really high, 157. Even though they're only 4-7, they only had two games at home, and then they were 2-7 on the road. They won both home games, and I would imagine based on that net, they were playing against some pretty good teams. So you would suspect through league matches, they're going to go way up the table. North Alabama look okay. Riverside Baptist looks okay. We look like once we kind of settle down and we play everybody, I think we're going to be somewhere down around here. Not at the very bottom, but behind the middle of the standings. Lower end, anyway. But the nice thing about league is it should be a pretty even mix between home games and away games. This part of the schedule should be balanced. And if we're doing fairly well at home and not good on the road, that may amount to about a 500 record in the league. It'd be nice if that happens. We'll see how that goes. So I was at a point in the season where we had plenty of money left for recruiting, and I had a look at an option, and I tried something. It did not work out. But there was a nothing to lose approach in that all of these guys that have no interest can't get any worse. It can get better. Can't get worse, but it can get better. So if it's already in a state where it can't get worse, I have nothing to lose besides money in getting them to do a visit. So I had these guys, I hosted everybody willing to host. Tony Lane, not willing to be hosted. He didn't want to come to the school. So he really, really doesn't like us. That excludes him. However, I did not host Nick Lee or Sean Ross or David Watson because their interest, as we discovered at the beginning of the season, can get worse. They can come visit the school and hate it, and then we lose them from the list. Now, I don't necessarily want to lose recruits who don't want to be here anyway, but we signed, I've been calling him Tyson. We signed Tyson DePina without him ever coming for a visit because we found something that he would respond to, and we plugged him with that by visiting him, and we got him to sign. So you can succeed without it. But what I found is we're not generating interest naturally, not through phone calls or anything like that. So I figured it was worth a shot. Did not work out, but it's something that I will utilize again in these early seasons as some sort of attempt to generate buzz. But, to be honest with you, there's not much that this campus has to offer that players are going to be stoked about. The school doesn't have prestige. The conference doesn't have prestige. We don't have good facilities. We don't have good academics. They come to the school and there's nothing that's going to jump out. So really all we can do is talk them into coming to the school. Showing them the school, not a good combination. But when you have money to burn and you have no interest and you're not generating interest in any other manner, it's worth a shot. So our first conference game is against Alamo Heights. We are at home. We are 7.5 point favorites in this one. So pretty hefty advantage. Both teams right around that 500 overall. We score 7 points a game, more than they do. But we also give up 9 points a game more than they do. So expect that to meet in the middle a little bit. Field goal percentage is similar. We have a better ball distribution rate, but with the extra points, you can see where at least half an assist would come from based off of that. They rebound pretty well, all things considered, but when there's more misses, there's more rebounds to be had. So them at a half a rebound a game more than us is insignificant as a number. Really similar in terms of steals and blocks numbers. There's a lot going on there that makes us look pretty even. It looks like Andrew Blakemore, high shooting percentage, does a lot of their scoring. We may consider doubling Blakemore to try to keep his points total a bit lower in this game. So we're not set to play man-to-man terribly often, but when we are, I went ahead and made a switch. Blakemore as their best scorer. I put Josh McIntyre, my better wing defender, instead of Grant Willis. So hopefully that should help negate Blakemore's scoring a little bit. Let's go ahead and get started with our first league game. At home, fairly well favored as potential winners. Let's see how we do. First possession is a turnover. Bad pass. And we give up a foul, put them on the line right away, but luckily they missed both. And then in our second position, we work the ball to the inside, low block, and get the score. It's 2-0. Work the ball inside again, beating the man already in close and getting the close range finish. It's 4-2 here early on. We're going to speed things up a little bit more. Already a couple fouls. Couple trips to the free throw line. That's a little worrying for us defensively. Yeah, 3 quick fouls inside 3 minutes is a little worrying. Game has quieted down quite a bit. We do get a 3-pointer there. That was our first score in a while. Also forcing the turnover on that one, but the fast break at the other end resulted in a miss. Another three-pointer, and it's 10-10. Long range 2, and it's 12-10. Fairly even early on. First look at the box score. Cage with 3 points already on the three-pointer. We've kind of done our first round of substitutions. 8 turnovers as a team at the moment. That is really worrying. They've had 5 steals. They're also ahead in the assist department. We've doubled them up on early rebounds, but those turnovers have led to a few extra chances for them. Both teams shooting exceptionally well. 18-17, tight game so far. Each team with 4 trips to the free throw line. And they are 3 from 3. 3 for 3 from 3. We are 3 from 5 from 3. Oh, missing in close. Boy, we are not finishing in close very well. Nice move into the slot on that one, but we missed the shot. It's 27-27 with 7 minutes to go here in the first half. Ball movement's been decent. Getting decent looks. Defensively, looks like they are playing man-to-man mostly. So definitely not seeing us gaining any space here. And we've got a slender 4-point lead here with 4 to go in the first half. Morton, 6 points off the bench, 3 from 3 shooting and a block, a couple of rebounds. He's playing well today. Both teams with a sequence of misses there. We definitely cooled from the outside, just 4 of 7 now. 5 of 8, there's a 3-pointer. And we've opened up our largest lead of the game. We were up by 8 there for a moment with under a minute to go here in the first half. They got a little run, but we kept going here. Not giving up, but neither have they, as they definitely closed the gap. That 8-point lead looked nice there for just a moment. They pick up a little momentum right before the half. I did not use any timeouts. That leaves us with plenty to go with the rest of the game. But I'm trying to remember college rules on timeouts. I think if you don't use them, you lose them. I'm so used to your timeouts are for the entire game in our league. So I'm often trying to not burn early timeouts unless we are really struggling early on. Okay, so it's 12-8 on the points in the paint. Second chance points, just 4-2, so neither team getting too many chances. And fast break points are also pretty even at 6-4. Slight edge for us there. So no standouts in this. Everything's fairly close. The points in the paint is nice. They are definitely not working the ball inside very much with that 2-3 defense that we are running. But they've gotten a fair bit of outside chances. Shooting 50% from the field. A lot of free throws. Holy crap. 16 attempts already. 4 for 7 beyond the arc. We're 5 from 8. So really similar in that. Both teams shooting ridiculously well. Wow, 15 of 22. The difference really is the extra free throws that they've had. Rebounds +2. Assists are even. Steals almost even. We have the only blocks in the game with 3, but 16 first half turnovers is really poor. Also, 13 fouls in the first half is a lot. We are in some serious foul trouble with that. They had 9. That's a fair bit, but it's definitely the fouls that have kept them close. Wallace in a bit of trouble with 3 fouls right now. 2 is, yeah, I mean, you only get 5 for a game, right? So 2.5 per half. You want to be at 2 or less. So Wallace in a bit of foul trouble right now. And quite a few guys on 2 fouls already. That's a little worrying. We need to turn down the defensive intensity just a little bit, at least for a little while. And maybe get off the full court pressure. And we're likely to see a few less fouls. But that might lead them to a few more open looks. We can't afford the fouls right now. So we'll back off at least for the next few minutes. Oh, nice 3-pointer there, and it's 49. They are scoring almost at will. I back off just a little bit on the pressure, and the opposition suddenly getting some good, clean looks. Miss there on the 3. Already the fouls still an issue. We've had 2 fouls in the half, but we're at 6 minutes now, so that's definitely better. We're not facing foul trouble at the moment, but our lead is gone. Now we're starting to play from behind a little bit. At the moment, they're taking the lead. We're catching up. They take the lead. We catch up. There's foul number 3. We will turn the intensity back up, but it's a matter of kind of where the score is, where the clock is. We get a little further in, keep the fouls low, and we'll turn that pressure back up. In terms of foul trouble, nobody on the court has 3, but I also don't see Wallace on the court. Okay, 9 minutes. Let's turn that intensity back up. Let's get that full court pressure back up a little bit, and we're starting to pull away. 67-60 here with 8 minutes to go. They finally just committed their first foul of the second half. Either they are not playing with intensity, they are incredibly clean, or it's the referees. I haven't worked the refs at all. Maybe we should work the refs, because the fouls are definitely not in our favor. I got warned. It's the first time I've worked them at all. Can I turn that back off? I don't want to do it continually. Okay, it's 70-70, by the way. 4 minutes to go. I think we need a timeout on our next possession here because we have not scored for a while. It did work. We scored coming out of the timeout, 73-72 now, but trailing here late on. Whoa. Slow this game down, please. 75-72 with just over a minute to go. Okay, full defensive intensity. And full court all the way. No need for fast breaks. We need every rebound we can get. 1 minute to play. James Cole made that one. We're down by 4 with 40 seconds to go. Offense, pace. Offense, crash boards. We have to right now. We need everything we can get. Oh, Ronnie Wallace with the miss. He's only got 1 point today. Supposed to be our best player, but he isn't much of a player. 18 seconds, the miss there. They get the rebound. That's probably going to do it on this one. 1 second. The 3, no good. We even missed the final shot to close the gap. So we lose the opener here in the league. We go from a winning position to a losing position. We went ice cold in that last 10 minutes, only getting 5 points in the last 10 minutes played. That hurts. That hurts when you go ice cold like that. Whatever they were doing defensively, it was working. The adjustments we started to make starting at the defensive end weren't enough. Fouls only ended up at 7, so we did get that to back off. We were missing Wallace. He never got back on, so we'll have to check that box score. It's entirely possible that Wallace had fouled out. Even though he is less than great, he's a bit overrated, I think. He's still one of our key players. Now, there you have it. Rodney Wallace only played 19 minutes in this game, was 0 for 2 from the field. He only ended up with 1 point, and he did foul out. He had 5 fouls. So, rough day for Rodney Wallace, and him not present in that last 10 minutes, not getting on the court at all. That's where things kind of fell apart on us. His plus-minus wasn't great either, though. A lot of that would have to do with committing 5 fouls, though. You put the other team on the free throw line where they're 19 of 26 based on a 73% rate and 5 fouls. That's probably 7 points that he gave away. And oh look, -7. No points for him scoring other than 1. So that means he's not contributing offensively either. He is hurting us defensively. Rodney Wallace had a terrible game, and it cost us dearly. We still ended up 59% from the field at the end of this thing. That's rough to lose a game while shooting 59% from the field. But when the other team has 12 more free throw attempts than you do, it's often going to go against you. Even though we were 11, looking at the stats, we shot really well. Our free throw conversion rate was really high, 52% from three. You just look at those few stats, and we should have won. Look at the rebounds, 19, 23, plus 4 in rebounds. We should have won. Assists, -4, that's not that bad. Steals, -1. Blocks, +4. However, here's where we lost this game. The fouls, absolutely a factor. Rodney Wallace hurt us severely. He had a really bad day. That -7, that likely 7 points off of those fouls. Yeah, you had 7 points, or subtract 7 from their total, and we win by 2. So, yes, fouls, huge. But also it's the turnovers. They had 16. That's a lot. We had 29. That's a ton. Cage had 10 turnovers. 10 for one player. He might have scored 14, but he turned that ball over a lot. That was bad. It was really bad. Blakemore ended up with 15 points, so right about his average. We did not shut him down. Switching to Josh McIntyre defending him. McIntyre ended up with just, which McIntyre? Either one. They both had 2 fouls. Just the one steal. So we weren't stealing the ball. It was more about limiting Blakemore from having a huge day. We held him to average. I think the big thing was Martin off the bench, 7 of 8, 18 points. That's big. Diggs. This is one that really hurts. And if we're looking across, I'm guessing this is where we're at. This is our matchup right here. Because yes, Willis was supposed to guard Blakemore, but I switched it to McIntyre. So, looking at that, Diggs, Wallace. Okay, Wallace fouled out. 5 fouls, only ended up with the 19 minutes. Diggs, 2 for 4 from the field. 0 for 2 from 3. Just 4 rebounds, just a couple assists, just a couple of fouls. But he still had 12 points. He was still the 3rd leading scorer because he was 8 of 10. Look at the total. 10 free throw attempts. Wallace, 5 fouls. There's your answer right there. There's the 8 points. 10 turnovers from Cage, along with others, and the 5 fouls from Wallace. Not a good way to start at home. I'm going to go ahead and push forward a handful of games and let you know where we're at. Conference schedule is 16 games. We've played 6 of those. We have 10 remaining, so we'll have kind of one more check-in period, but that'll wrap up next episode. So next episode we'll get through the remainder of the season and get into our first off season. Not doing so hot at the moment. Alamo Heights, that team we lost to 75-80 in the one that we showed live, they're undefeated. They're 6-0 in conference. They are the league leaders. We were pretty close. We were at home for that one. And then we managed to win on the road at Mississippi Valley State, so that was good. But then we lost at home to North Alabama, and then lost on the road to Alabama A&M. And then Southeast Houston, we were able to win at home. And that makes us 1-2 at home and 1-2 on the road so far. Considering one of those home losses was to the league leader, if we could then, we're 1-1 otherwise at home. If we can keep at least 500 at home over the course of the season and win the occasional one on the road, that's still going to have us near the bottom of the league, but definitely not last. We'll see. Our next couple games are at home. That should help. But again, with an even mix the rest of the way, we've got Mississippi Valley State at home. Again, they have not been good at Alamo Heights on the road. That's going to be difficult. But you figure one there, not that one. So I'd say we're looking at probably 2 wins. That could go either way. Well, that'll be at home, but they've been pretty dang good. That's a win. They're 1-10 on the road, so that's a win. I'd say we're looking at 4 wins, maybe 5 here in the last 10. 4-6 wouldn't be that bad. 5-5 would definitely be good. That's not going to get us terribly far, but it's better than nothing. 4 more wins would put us at 11 for our first season, double digits. I have a feeling once these seniors graduate with a weak incoming recruiting class, we're probably going to drop below 10 wins next season. We're not out of it yet, but you figure at 2-4 and 7-10 overall, we are probably not going to get promoted in this first season, which makes total sense because not only am I bad at recruiting, I'm bad at, everything. In case you had forgotten, I'm not just 1 star because my assistant coaches are all at 1 star also. That does not mean that they are as bad as I am, because the rating is out of 100, and to get to that half a star beyond where you're at, break it down by 100, right? Do the math. 5 stars, 100, that's 20 points per star, but then it works in half stars. They don't show you a half star initially. It automatically kicks up to 1 star. So you don't hit 1.5 stars until you have a 30 out of 100 in any given attribute. So offensive concepts, defensive concepts, scouting ability, recruiting ability, and player development. I started at a 1 in all of them. I may or may not have improved at this stage. I don't know if I have. I don't know if that happens just yearly or if that happens dynamically over time. Regardless, I'm not going to see another half star until I get to a 30. And my assistant coaches, they could be in the 10s, they could be in the 20s, they could have a 29 in a category and still be 1 star. Meanwhile, I have a 1. So chances are they're all quite a bit better than I am. I highly, highly doubt that any of them are anywhere near as bad as I actually am at this stage. One way to really show that is Audrey Hamilton, who's been assigned to recruiting. I've had 2 successes all year. You look at the scouting reports of the players, and there's 1, 2, 3 things known about all those guys that were cool on. I've only brought in 2 successes. I've only unlocked 2 things. He's got 2 to 3 on every player. So he's doing quite a bit better than I am. All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. I think we've made a lot of progress. We're having a decent season. We're having an okay season, but I think that success is going to be short-lived. It does look like from the schedule, though, that we could win another 4 or 5 games here the rest of the season. And that's a good way to finish. And then we'll have the conference tournament and that final recruiting. I'm obviously not going any further than the conference tournament. And will I even qualify for that? I don't know. Depends on how the conference tournament is structured, on how many teams are in. Is everybody in? Or is it just a limited number of teams? Probably just a limited number of teams. I would imagine you got to finish in the top 12 or so to make the conference tournament, with 4 byes in the first round, and then the next 8 playing each other, and then single elimination after you get down to 8. That's a typical tournament, and I think that's how this one's structured, but it's been a few years. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.